Hello and welcome to Footy Judgment Masterclass from Eric, Disaster Class from Eric Ten Hag. I'm sorry, they lose 2-1 at Nottingham Forest. Absolute shambolic game in the first half. Nottingham Forest turned on the screws in the second half to win it 2-1. Gibbs White with an amazing goal, of course. It had to be him, of course. Chelsea win against Luton, 3-0 up, and then they survived the scare. They escaped with 3 points. And Man City, Phil Foden, stars for an easy win. That was a scandalous game, of course, because Sheffield United at the end of the game didn't even want to go and try to press as they were scared from the third and the fourth. It cost me 3 points in the prediction because I predicted 3-0. But yeah, everyone is happy apart from, of course, Man United fans. A lot of people told them this is not you coming back. A lot of people said that they are coming back, but I'm here with a fantastic panel. We'll talk about the three games. We'll talk about everything tactics. We'll talk about the emotions of the games and how people feel about Ten Hag, how people feel about everything. Pochettino, 3 points behind Man United, believe it or not. But I'm here and with everybody. How's everybody feeling? Everybody good?
Big up, man.
Yeah, we're all good, man.
All good. Hope everyone else
Naji, you're not good. I see the sadness, bro, in your eyes.
Yeah, for a
And
different
I'm sorry,
reason,
bro.
man. For a different
I'm
reason,
sorry.
man.
But Happy New Year. I hope the
New Year,
new
bro.
year brings happiness to everybody. Hit that like button, people. If you just joined, 180 people right off the bat. We're just starting. The like button is the only way this channel is going to grow. We get bigger audience. I'm going to start with Naji. Quick thoughts about the game. What did you think about the game? And how did you think about Ten Hag managing the game? Quick thoughts.
Yeah, quick thoughts, man. First of all, not Forest deserved to win that, so no complaints. I don't think if we got a point, even a result, you can walk off and saying, yeah, we deserved that at all. Again, the Ten Hag, the biggest part of Ten Hag's situation was the substitution of McTominay. Made no sense whatsoever. And like I said, I put a tweet out there and I said, it's either going to be a spot of genius and brilliance, when not to quote me exactly, or it's going to be lunatic and crazy that he's done it, depending on the result. And it just didn't work out at all. But look, the biggest issue for me, like I keep saying, and I said to you in against the Aston Villa thing, Aston Villa, you look at it, these players aren't even willing, prepared to do the basics, step up. So in order to be able to even get your style of system across, this is any manager, you need the fundamentals there to be able to happen. Like, get the foundations in terms of your how can I put it, your work rate, your effort, having the mindset to focus, be disciplined in the right areas. All of these things are the foundations to any style of football. We didn't see it against Villa until what? We conceded 2 goals and it's like, oh, okay, we can do it now. These same players that played today, only difference we had more was with Højlund. And respectfully, Højlund wasn't great against Villa. Got his goal, yeah, persisted, fair play, but it wasn't great. But there's still another 10 players on that pitch that were exactly the same team that showed that we can actually start playing ball. We can actually do the things Ten Hag wanted us to do in the second half. They're starting today, and we didn't see it again. And I don't know how many United fans have to keep kind of skipping over it. Maybe it's just not. Maybe it's not viable for them to talk about it. But respectfully, I've seen this for 10, 11 years now, where the same thing happens again. These players have a culture embedded in them where they can down tools and their mindset is not strong enough. We are weak to do the basics. So when I start to see that, how can I expect to see a style of play? How can I expect to see consistency? If these players were giving 100% every single week in, week out, even when their back's against the wall, even when shit hits the fan, then I could sit there and go, ooh, well, you are doing all the things you want to do. It's just not working out. They're not even doing the basics. So, yeah, listen, Ten Hag, for me, I mean, you guys can have your opinions and United fans as well, but I'm just speaking for me. One fan of millions is what it is. But for me personally, the biggest issue for me was Ten Hag putting Rashford in as a striker, even though he got his goal, putting him in as a striker and playing and making that substitution of McTominay. Everything else, I have to start looking at the players and everything else. I don't know how, and again, you've already heard me say, Mo, Notts deserve to win that. But asking for consistency, I've been on your show how many times? The receipts are there in your shows. I speak about decisions being inconsistent. How was Morgan Gibbs-White still on the pitch after the reckless challenge? Even though, again, he won the ball. I didn't think the first one was a foul, even though in this day and age, it is a foul. So he's had that challenge. He's had a following challenge after the original foul, which was reckless to the high nth. And then he's mouthing off saying, yeah, 3 times, I got the ball. So again, where's the red card for that? Diogo Dalot only has to do it once. And then Diogo Dalot again got a yellow card. So even when shit's hit the fan, and I'll repeat what I said on your show before, even when you need a little bit of luck in your team, you're still not getting it. So we can't buy a win for love and the money, mate. It is what it is. But listen, I'm not disappointed in the way we're playing, because I predicted this a long time ago. I predicted the backward steps. I think Ten Hag was naive to bring the players that he's brought in so soon. And I feel like he should have added critical forwards to what he built on last season. He shot himself in the foot. But overall, my disappointment is this whole notion of manager in, manager out. And for me, like I said, I don't care. I'll let a manager fall off his horse and get back on it for 4 seasons until we get football structure in. So unless Ineos come in here and say manager out, I'm actually cool with that, because at least I can trust the structure. But until that structure is implemented and put in place, I will have to back a manager for that longer period of time, because we can't keep doing the 2 seasons or 18-month cycle of managers, because what we're inherently doing is taking the last manager's players. We're not going to be able to sell Anthony. We're not going to be able to sell Onana. The next player plays a completely different style, and then we're back to square one with even more problems. I'm not entertaining that. I'd rather a manager complete a process, so at least I know I can go, okay, you've got strong 16 players. Now I can start to drudge you with more heat. It is what it is. But that's me as in a home, and I'm just numb to it at the moment, bro.
Oh,
just
wow.
numb.
So you're not actually Ten Hag out then?
No.
Oh wow.
You're surprised?
I am very surprised, because I've got my Chelsea fan base who 3 months in for a manager that's been here. He's only been here for his first season, and a lot of them are already out. But Ten Hag, he's been it's his second season. We've past Christmas now, and Chelsea are only 3 points behind them. So I would have thought majority of United fans would have been Ten Hag out by now.
No.
Oh, the majority are. I'm an anomaly when it comes to it. Trust me.
Okay then.
I'm an anomaly. Yeah.
Listen to let me get quick thoughts about the Man City game from Mulver Hamza. How do you guys see the game? You guys happier now? You think there is a structure? You think now Pep is playing good football again? Rodri scored, world-class player, everything. Mulv, talk to me about Man City.
Yeah, I'll be quick, mate, because it was like Groundhog Day for the Manchester teams today. United, good result, bad result, good result, bad result. They're not moving forward. But with City, it was you expect us to take control of a game against a bottom team in the league, and they've done that today with a professional performance, I call it. 2 good goals. Phil Foden again at the center of everything good that we're doing. Unlucky, mate. Other than that, yeah. I mean, I think Hamza will agree. We're more relaxed about things at the moment. We're a little bit of a shark again, just sort of hovering below the surface, the top of the league, and we still got some big players to come back. Kevin De Bruyne warmed up today. I think that probably got the biggest cheer of the game at the Etihad. So yeah, looking good. Haaland to come back, Doku to come back, Foden warming up nicely, and a clean sheet that we haven't had in quite some time. So yeah, very happy with today's results, mate, and City's performance. So yeah, I'll pass it over to Hamza.
You're live, Hamza.
Hamza Naim.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, so
MashaAllah Naim.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy. We apparently we're in crisis and we don't look the same. We've lost our best players. We lost Gundogan, we lost Mahrez, we lost Kevin De Bruyne through injury. Laporte was missed. Rodri had been suspended multiple games. People were saying Man City was in crisis. This is Arsenal's first main season to win something, and Arsenal look to have improved, and City have gone downhill. City have made a mistake, and they should have got. They made a huge mistake in terms of look at their bench. They got Oscar Bob, they've got Sassuolo, they got Michael Hamilton, they got Rico Lewis, they got Sergio Gomez, they got Calvin Phillips, they got Scott Carson, and look at them. And people said we were down and out, and people said it was between Arsenal and Liverpool. And now
nobody. By the way, but nobody said that actually.
Most people say
no one in the world
on the table.
If you asked anyone, they would say, "Yeah, Arsenal might win the league," but majority of the
But people said City is not
City
the
are
same
still
City.
favorites, right?
That's the word they said. It's not the same City. This is a weak City side.
It's
and I
still
think
not the same
more
City,
even-
but that
more
doesn't.
even the
You
same
winning against Sheffield doesn't change the fact that
But
you're
it's-
still
it's-
waiting for Kevin De Bruyne. There is a reason why people cheer today for Kevin De Bruyne. I'm not gonna go into the details. There is a reason why now Phil Foden, everybody's asking him to play centrally because in the beginning of the season he was playing on the right wing. So
No, I think the
so
thing
I
people-
still think that
people gave a lot of responsibility to Foden before the season started. Said, okay, KDB is injured, and now we'll see what Foden's made of because he's just being carried by the team.
Rightly
But now
so.
we're seeing Foden's carrying us in games, and he is doing well. He's showing people that who he is and the player we've been telling you all about. It's just unfortunate that Foden plays with very good players. I'm sorry, like I'll give you an example. If you're playing with Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, you can be as good, but they shine the light there are the great players. So when he comes in and Haaland scoring over 50 goals, Gundogan winning us games, and Kevin De Bruyne, who's one of the greatest midfielder of all time, the expectation is Foden has to be that level, but it's not. And we've been saying it because we see him scoring important goals. He comes off the bench, he still does well. City fans have been saying he's gone through injuries, but this season I hope rivals have learned that Foden is that guy. Pep will never play a player that good if he didn't believe in him. Pep, if he doesn't have patience, he ships you out. You've seen with Yaya Toure, he got rid of him at Barcelona. You've seen how many players got rid of at Barcelona who are very, very good. Ibrahimovic, when he didn't have patience, he gets rid of you. But Pep, when he sees you're a good player, he'll keep you. The fact that he doesn't play Phillips, but he plays Foden centrally, he's relied on him. It's impressive. And for City to have a small squad with a lot of key players missing that I haven't seen any team. If we had, for example, United had Bruno out, they had their main striker out, or they had a winger out, major
All our
players,
strikers are out at the moment, even when they're not.
Alessandro Martinez. You're seeing what's happening already. Man City are losing key players, and we're above Arsenal.
Hamza, we're not
we
about to
keep-
sit here and compare Manchester City current situation with Manchester United. That's not happening.
Facts.
Like we're not comparing that. Like we're not going into this discussion. And I don't
No,
think
but
you
it's
want to
the
go
same,
into
man.
this discussion, Hamza. Because it's illogical to go through a 10 years of a banter era from one of the most successful eras in English football history. Like the dominance, the treble. We're not comparing both clubs. They aren't in the same boat.
Or
They
Liverpool,
aren't
for
even.
example.
Let me just tell you, they aren't even in the same race, bro. They aren't.
Listen, more. If
They
I
aren't,
took more,
like-
if I took more Salah,
Not in
out
the
of
same
Liverpool,
ocean.
Like I'm
They-
sorry, I cannot sit here and
More.
compare Man United to Man City now.
Okay, forget United.
You
Liverpool,
can compare
if I
Man
took-
United 20 years ago, yes, or
if-
15, but
more.
not now.
If I took more Salah out of Liverpool now for 4 months, because KDB is our more Salah for 4 months, I said, Liverpool, you're not having this guy. You're not having, let's say, for example,
Now you're talking.
You're not
Now you're
getting another. You'll not play Szoboszlai there, and you're gonna have Thiago Alcantara missing. Liverpool fall off. Liverpool struggle like
100%.
to get top 4.
Nobody,
with 2-3 players
100%.
missing.
100%.
To
But
me,
you
I have to say,
you have
what
another
Pep Guardiola
player.
But
has done
see,
is
you've got a better squad, man.
No. You have two players that if you take them out, I think they make a big impact. But I'm not going to go into details here. It's Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne. Liverpool have one. But that's why you are favorites in everyone, all the bookies said you are favorites. Everybody can sit here and say Man City are favorites because you have these two players. But we'll get into City. I will talk about Manchester City, but I want to hear the Chelsea lot. Back-to-back wins, second time this season, 3 points behind Man United, closing on the top 6, if I'm not mistaken. How did you guys see the game? Oh my God! And have hope saying future Ballon d'Or for Cole Palmer. Have hope.
Okay,
Have hope.
So just for go ahead, anyone on their scorecards on Hamza Bingo, he mentioned Gundogan and having a small squad, so that's ticked off the list on today's stream. So, but listen, I don't say I agree. It's about 75 minutes. I was calm in that game, even though we weren't in really much control. But even though they were crossing the ball in, they weren't causing us much. And then it just went mad for the last 20 minutes of that game. But before that, we took our chances well. Palmer's second goal is just class. He just rounded the goalkeeper, still a composure around him and put the ball in. He's now sitting on 14 GNA for the season. Jackson got an assist. And yeah, for 75 minutes I was calm. And then it just went mad. It went mad. It was like a barrage, and we just about survived. And I got to say, Petrovic, that save, keeps us the 3 points. It really does in the end, and that's the criminal thing about it. We should be all just talking about how great Cole Palmer is solely today, but we've still got to mention that we nearly bottled it at the end, which is I really can't explain it, because before it was just they were crossing it in, but we weren't having any issues. They weren't causing any issues whatsoever.
I think this is the thing, though. Like, and again, I liken Chelsea and United similar this season, because the mentality is something I've always spoken about. And when shit hits the fan, you start to see second guesses. Like, you'll get people guessing the first yard when they're going to press or not, and it just literally makes everything disjointed. And you can be up in the whole game, controlled it. I thought Chelsea played really well today. And then Luton had the opportunities that were coming, because they managed to just do something with a small bit of opportunity they got. And after that, Chelsea started to crumble here. And then it was wave after wave after wave. And it wasn't just like lucky opportunities. It was genuine good football that allowed Luton to capitalize on those opportunities. And yeah, you got the 3 points, but I think that's what happens if you haven't got the mentality to be able to hold on to wins even when things are good. Like, there has to be a lot more look at the psychology of sports and appreciation for it.
Yeah, that comes with experience, though. Like, until the 78th minute, guys, Luton had one shot.
That's what I mean. There was a trick.
It was mentality. Once that first chance came to Luton, I think they're firing their belly, and then they believed. And to be honest, their coach is a very good coach. Like,
there was a trifecta. There was something that they had the goal disallowed, then they hit the bar, and then Barkley scored. In that order.
But they were controlling the game before that. Chelsea won. Chelsea won.
No. They had whatever.
They had 0 shots on target, Hamza.
They had no
Chelsea was sick, man.
Chelsea just quickly counter-attacked, and they scored from their mistakes. That ball was given by Kabore.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you, but it looked like.
What about the second goal and the third goal?
There's an overall performance.
You just counter-attacked them and they scored. You didn't look.
What do you mean just counter-attack them and scored? What do you want us to do, bro? Produce some Barcelona goal, bro?
I swear you didn't.
I don't understand, bro.
I blame them. They had chances and they were quite in control of the game. I predicted you would lose because I know how hard Luton is to go away. But the fact that you won that game, if it was a draw, it would have been disappointing for Luton. Luton had you're lucky. I've never seen you. Like, you all fan base, you must have been so ready for that final whistle because you were getting peppered.
That was only the last 10 minutes.
That was 10 minutes.
That was literally 10 minutes.
It was only 10 minutes.
70 minutes. When Enzo came on, I think Enzo came on at 3-0.
No, it came on at 3-1 to stop your agenda.
3-1, okay.
It came on at 3-1.
Came on at 3-1.
I know what you're going to say.
But then after that, the game completely should. I think Luton could have won that. Easy.
They could have in the last 10 minutes. They could have easily done that.
It already started before Enzo came on. He'd already scored, hit the bar, and had a goal disallowed. So it already started before Enzo came on. So there's not an Enzo.
After Enzo came on, I didn't see any protection. In fact, you had to send.
That's because he had him play him as a number 10.
Yeah, that's
okay. Listen, I don't want to go into the details about Chelsea because Naji, he's gonna go and the Man United. I wanted to go back to Ziad about the game. Quick thoughts, please.
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really care about the performances at this point, man. We're 10th. I need points. I need 3 points. End of the day, look, Noni Madueke, he showed up, man. That guy showed up. He's been struggling this season. Hasn't been given game time. Look, now he's got more goals but he's got the same amount of goals as what's his name, Doku at Man City, and less appearances. Listen, man, I'm happy. Cole Palmer, look, same amount of GA. He's got more goals than Foden. Look, these young players are performing. You know, young players got pressure on them. Gusto, he's performing. Palmer performing. Noni out of the team the whole season, he's performing. You know, like, they're taking responsibility for their performances and what they're doing on the pitch, which I like. But still, little glimpses of mistakes from certain players. Not great performances from Broja, Jackson, and Pochettino. Some of the substitutions didn't make sense. He didn't make any substitutions when we were getting absolutely cooked. He brought on a youngster, which helped us at the very end. but I still think he could have added more. Jackson shouldn't have played 90 minutes. He could have brought on easily Maatsen on the left and helped track back to stop those crosses coming in, but he didn't do it. He let Gallagher fall to his knees at the end of the half and beat them tired. But listen, end of the day, like I said, we got the 3 points and only 3 points behind United, 7th. But so look, keep getting the 3 points, and then I'm not gonna complain. But Cole Palmer is yeah, man, serious baller, man.
He's
Thank
the
you,
truth.
Hamza.
That's what
He's a serious player, man.
God,
Thank you, Hamza,
overboard
bro.
again. Yeah, you're doing. Yeah, overboard again. Oh, he's the truth.
Overboard? Why is it overboard?
He's good, but he isn't the truth.
Oh yeah.
Guys, to be the truth, you need to be
so
Kevin De
shameful,
Bruyne.
man.
You need to be Mohamed Salah. This is the truth. You
It's
know
so
what I mean?
shameful that
Man,
six
Like-
youngsters.
like
He's
he's
got
a
5
good-
more goals
a
than
good-
Martinelli.
Well, he's the good young player. Like, don't
He's
do
good.
this. Like, don't do what.
Don't put him under
listen,
pressure.
When Man
That
United,
pedigree.
what Man United did with Kobe Mainoo and Garnacho is like they said Garnacho, the next Cristiano here, and do all of this. Wait, okay, don't do that.
I'm not comparing him to any other
Cristiano? Are you not?
No, no one ever said that. No
I'm
one ever
comparing
said
him
that.
to Cocaine
That
Cole
was media.
Palmer. That's
That
what
was
I'm
straight
comparing.
media
to.
because
Yes,
Garnacho.
yes, I'm talking about
calm down.
yes.
Garnacho,
Najee.
hold up, Mo. Yeah, Garnacho. We all know fantasizes over Ronaldo and has done his whole career, right?
Right?
The media have taken that. He has. It's fact. The media have
Okay.
taken that and started to spin it. That wasn't from United fans. Even we said United fans. Why are they doing this? Yes, we know he loves Ronaldo.
Okay.
Yes, you know he's a winger. Even we were saying, majority were saying, again, you're gonna get the anomalies that are gassed at every chance. Cool, but most of us were saying he ain't no Ronaldo for real. The way he plays the game is completely different. It's just a case of he fantasizes over him. When he scores, he does Ronaldo celebrations. As we know, media go straight on that. Oh, the next Ronaldo. No. None of us ever said that. So you'll never hear any logical United fan come out here saying that. For one, Kobe Mainoo, respectfully, I was one who definitely said even 2 seasons ago he was ready. No one, even my fan base, didn't want to hear it. I'll be honest, they didn't want to hear it, and they didn't understand again the quality, the maturity that Kobe Mainoo has is how he plays the game. Looks like he's been playing for 20, 25 years. He should not be able to do that naturally, easily at 18 years old. So yes, he would be a freak of nature given the fact that it's unnatural to see what you see on the pitch in that 6th role. So therefore, we will add a certain level of expectation, but we won't go over the top and go, he needs to be that main guy right now. Because we're desperate, we need that guy. Facts. So we're going to
Fair assessment, to be honest. Like
Mo,
like
listen.
the way
listen,
I heard it,
don't do it,
I'm
Mo.
gonna
Don't
go
do
back
it.
to.
Don't do it, please. Don't
got
do
s-
it. Go,
Don't do
Mo,
what?
but don't leave
Don't
Cole
do
Palmer
what?
alone, bro. Leave Cole Palmer alone.
I'm leaving Cole Palmer. He's a
Leave
very
Cole
good
Palmer alone,
player.
bro.
He actually very good player. He's improving and everything. But again, you're doing that thing again. When like I don't know, like I don't do this for my players ever. Like at Inter, no matter who I saw, I never say the truth. I never say world class already. I wait, bro. Like I wait. It's for me.
We're
But
not comparing him.
maybe it's just me, right?
We're
But
not.
I'm gonna go to the Man United. Listen, guys, over 500 people here. And we need the likes to go up a little bit. We're only on 160 likes, over 500 people. Hit the like button.
God.
Subscribe to the channel if you're new, right? Let me do there are a couple
Mo.
super chats. Oh, go ahead. Yes.
Mo, can I ask one Chelsea question, mate? My
Yeah, of course.
man down here says he prefers points over performances at the moment as a Chelsea fan, and I was just thinking, like, if I was in their shoes, would I feel the same way? And I'm wondering, like, what are the points for? Like, do you think you can make the Champions League spots or not?
I think we got to make any European sport,
Okay.
European sport. Because at the end of the day, I think what we done in the summer was crazy in terms of the incomings and outcomings, and I think we underestimate the money we can get from European football, whether it's Europa League, even Conference League, and of course we know about Champions League. So this season hasn't been great so far, and there's a lot of Chelsea fans are Pochettino out. And right now, what I do want, I would love a Pochettino to prove everyone wrong while getting points. At the moment, it's not really happening. Like we've won our last 2 games, but he hasn't shown anything for the people that are Poch out to change their minds. And I've got to agree with that as someone that's not shouting his name to go out right now. So listen, as a financial, as a club as well, I think it helps us a lot to get Champions League football or Europa League football, Conference League, anything that will help. But look, for me right now, climb up the table, and whatever European competition we get, I'll be happy with, because I think it does help us, even though I'm not a financial expert or whatnot. I do think it helps us.
Let me do these couple super chats, then move to Najee to talk about Ten Hag at the wheel, Ten Hag at the wheel. Ta-la-la-la. Of course, yeah. Again, Ten Hag again. Fatur, thank you, Fatur, for the super chat. Cricky, that was Millie away end, collecting 3 points, signing out in style. Check the vlog at Chelsea Fan TV for Fatur. Yeah, guys, Chelsea Fan TV.
Yeah.
Gotta do a plug, a bit big up. Yes, Fatur, thank you so much. Najee, Ten Hag, how did he think about this substitution, McTominay? Like, I have no idea. Is there anybody sane next to the guy? Is it? And I was saying to the guys
obviously not
behind,
more.
but it doesn't make any sense. Like, how is he a football coach and he makes that substitute? Because they literally scored from that hole that Kobe Mino left. Literally that one.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I
And
mean, I'm not going to sit here and
nil-nil,
defend
bro.
something that I cannot give a logical explanation. If something doesn't make logical sense or there's no angle to it, well, I'm going to sit and try and beg to save a man's life. No, I will hold a man accountable for things when I cannot see any logics to it. Even if there's like a 2-3% chance of logics to add to it, I'm still going to look at it and go, well, okay, you've gone with the hypothetical of a potential thing happening, but the probability of it happening ain't going to work out for you. So therefore, you need to hold smoke. I've got no issue doing that with Ten Hag. It's not a problem. But the issue for me, Mo, is I expect a manager to have these kind of mistakes, but the biggest knock-on effect is what happens with these managers when they make these mistakes at United is that because of the desperation of the fans and because of the situation that they're in, Manchester United managers across, forget the name Ten Hag, across the board, there is less room for them to make these mistakes. These are normal mistakes that happen. Normal. But it gets amplified, to me, it gets amplified by 10 because of the situation we're in. And I have to ask myself, why is this? And I'm not, this is not to defend the manager because like I said, I will criticize and I have done. Go on my Twitter if you need receipts. It's all there. And I've been very specific in the manner in which I've criticized, not to criticize, just to save face. I've gone in. Do you know what I mean? And I'm happy to do that. But I have to ask myself why. I have to delve a little bit deeper all the time. And I'm seeing the same things happen every time, no matter what the manager is. Yes, he's going to make a mistake. I've got no problem criticizing for that because you want him to do better. No problem. Do it. You need to drop Anthony more off. You need to start making early substitutions. Those were comments that were made after 6-7 games in the whole season. He started to do that in 60 minutes, taking man off. So he's shown levels of improvement. But again, that doesn't fit the narrative of some people. When they look at the whole thing, Mo, for me, no matter what manager it is, it's going to be in the same situation. The moment you start taking steps back, I predicted this, remember, Mo, and people started to laugh. I said, with the signings he's made for this season, having overachieved last season, he's taken 3 steps back to go 5 forward. And I said to you, even about the goalkeeping situation, I said he shouldn't have prioritized spending money on Mount and Onana. Because this last season, our biggest flex was that we won the best defensive records in the league. One of the best. Playing with 2 holding sixes. All we lacked was goals from goal threat. We created enough, not a lot, but enough to go on bad games. And I literally sat here and said that money should have been spent on clinical forwards. Because if you have a De Gea in goal who makes a mistake 1 in 3, which is again is an extreme, I'm giving you an extreme point because that's not the fact. Again, it's maybe 1 in 10 or whatever. But even if you made 1 in 3, at least I know we can win games 4-2, 3-1. Because your strikers will be clinical enough when given the chances. We didn't do that last season. So the biggest criticism I've given Ten Hag this season is for prioritizing in the wrong way, in the wrong order. So he now has to hold that. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I didn't predict the injuries, which have had a massive and major impact on how we play the game. Absolute facts. Like it or not, it is what it is.
What is
but
the
overall?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, but overall, I'm not going to sit here and then say there are certain things that the manager has got incorrect because he absolutely stunk it out today with that decision. And in my opinion, that's one decision that I've seen this season where I can wholeheartedly go, most of the blame is on you because that decision was so pivotal. But before you made that decision, the performance wasn't any better. We still weren't doing the basics. This is why I said over a whole performance, is that decision genuinely the reason why we lost? I don't believe it is. And I think if you delve into it a little bit deeper, you can see there were a lot more issues before that substitution was made. I just think it got worse after that substitution.
Okay, I don't think, to be honest with you, I actually don't think Man United fans should look into this game in isolation at all. And I think the majority of the panel here believe that. Like, this is not this game. Like, we have seen something similar to this many times with Ten Hag. I want to ask everyone else here, and I'm gonna start with Mauv. What do you think the threshold for Ten Hag? You're looking from outside. You're a Man City fan, but I'll take you as a reasonable person. You can take your Man City hat off. Reasonably, what do you think the threshold should be for Ten Hag? Is it if he drops to 10th? If he doesn't get European football? What's the threshold where you have to say, well, I don't care if the system is bad or not, we'll have to sack you and try with the next one?
I think the biggest, the most damning thing about his tenure there is the players, his players that he's brought in
Recruited.
are not performing. Like our guy mentioned before, you know, he's dealing with a lot of other managers' players and has been for, you know, almost 2 seasons now. But he has had a handful of his own, as I understand it, that he's personally handpicked to come in, and they've been absolute flops in my view. It's become like a proper graveyard for talent, Old Trafford, unfortunately for them. So I don't know. I almost think that, I think that's the most damning thing, and it may be past the threshold even for me. You know, if this, I thought he was going to be great, and you know, once he got to bring his own players in, it'd be even better. But they're here, and they've massively overspent on them, and they're not performing. So I think it's already past the threshold for me. But I couldn't give you a name of somebody who I think would work there though.
I'm not.
Because-
I never tell people to, like, I stopped this before because I'm not a scout. Like, I don't have a scouting system behind me that go watch La Liga, to go watch the Portuguese league. I'm not. That's a club's job. It's not my job. You know what I mean? That's not my job, to be honest. But in my opinion, I get what Naji is saying, but I disagree with it. Like, I understand his trail of thought. I disagree with it because, in my opinion, big clubs should not be about let's get into the process or something. Yes, you get in the process, but only through progress. If you regress, you're sacked, you're out. And if you regressed for a short period of time, like Jurgen Klopp, and you have credit in the bank, yes, we'll wait a season. We'll see how you do the next season. Ten Hag doesn't have enough credit in the bank to say he progressed last year. Now you regress this year. Maybe we'll wait you progress again. He's not Jurgen Klopp. He's not Pep Guardiola. Like Arteta, for example. Arteta doesn't have enough credit in the bank. If he regressed this year, let's say Arteta finishes 5th, finishes 15 points from City, and the team looks absolutely worse than last year, he doesn't have credit in the bank. Ten Hag is the same for me. And at the end, bigger clubs, it's a winning business because that's what brings money. That's what keeps the fan around. That's what makes the structure happen. So in my opinion, when Ten Hag keeps like doing this, like up and down, winning game and losing a game, you're out. Even if you're going to get an interim manager, at least to think about the next manager, because at the moment, I think he's doing more damage to the mentality of the players, the mentality of the club, the structure of the club, by himself with his staffing, with his coaching staff, than actually keeping him rather than getting an interim manager. That's my opinion about that. If we see a progress through like 5, 6, 10 games, we'll say, yes, maybe it's a step in the right direction. But at the moment, it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And that, for a club like Man United, I think, this is my opinion, I'm not going to say what fans should think. If this was my club, I'll be asking for the coach's head. Get out. I need somebody else, no matter who it is. I don't care.
Yeah, but you said the same about Chelsea, no, with Pochettino.
I really did. I said,
so
you're 10th.
Yeah, I completely agree with the fact that to see, especially in a big club, to trust the process or giving a manager time, you got to see some type of progression. You got to see what the manager's doing. You got to see certain players playing well, improving, whatnot. But how long do you wait to see if there is progression?
So for
Chelsea, you know what I mean?
Here's the issue.
Can I add one more thing before Naji comes in and answer me? Just one more thing. The difference between Chelsea and Manchester United, and people disagreed with me a lot, but I was very consistent from about like 2-3 games. I said on the pitch, Chelsea look better than Man United, even when there was 9 points different. I said, I see what Pochettino is trying to do. I see at least a style of play. Chelsea are the second in position. They are the second in creating chances. They miss a lot of chances. So it looks like Pochettino was having a style of play, was trying to implement something, maybe having the wrong place. But even at that time, I said, bro, if you don't move from 10th, you should get sacked. If you don't win games, you should get sacked. But for Man United at the moment, if you ask me what is Man United, I wouldn't know how they're going to play against Aston Villa versus how they're going to play against Forest. But for Chelsea, you can see it. That was my point, the difference between the two clubs.
I would agree massively, but I think the misconception that people come to conclusions on is comparing Manchester United as a club to other clubs at this moment in time. We are the only club that has run the way we're run. We're the only commercial asset club. You don't need me to tell you that. You can go look at all previous managers' conversations. You can go look at how we're run, how we do deals and everything else. You can go look at that. So in isolation, the way we are run is not the same as any other club. The standards are completely different. We're not run to put football first. It never has been that way. And that comes with its whole catalogue of issues. Hence why when you bring new managers in, even with better CVs than Ten Hag that we've previously had, they fall short. I've said to Hamza many times, if Pep Guardiola came into this Manchester United team, who's undoubtedly probably the best manager at present in the world right now, do you see the same level of what you see at City, at United? I don't think you do. So therefore, there's a question that needs to be asked and go, is it always down to a manager if there's 10, 15 years of consistency of the same shit happening for the second season? There has to be something else, and there is something else. And therefore, I don't believe it's always going to be down to a manager to have that level of expectation to go and be the club that you guys think Manchester United is. Yes, on paper, as a club, what we are, what we represent in the football world is it's undoubted. You can never touch it. Regardless of whether you like us or not, you can't do that. But the reality is we are not run as that club. We'll never be run as that club. So you ask if you want to get rid of a manager, no problem. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt and see you get rid of Ten Hag. Do I trust that the board members are, one, going to get rid of him for footballing reasons? Two, have they done their due diligence to go and say, this is the way we want to play football now. This is what I want to do. Let's go and bring this manager in. That's not going to happen either. So the conclusion I come to, Mo, which is what I said to you, is until there's a level of football structure that has an identity and the way in which they want to play, the only angle we can get some form of football structure is from a manager. That is it. This is why I don't mind a manager making these decisions currently, getting it wrong, criticizing him, but going, okay, sort it out. And this is why I do believe it's going to take at least 4 or 5 seasons minimum, over 3-4 seasons, to at least get some consistency in there. Now, brother above me spoke about...
Mauve.
Yeah, sorry. What's your name? Sorry, brother.
Mauve, mate.
Mauve, yeah. Mauve spoke about players that he's brought in. A lot of them haven't been flops. A lot of them have been unavailable. A lot of them last season that he brought in were actually really good. Anthony, again, I don't rate him on the ball. I understand, just because I understand him does not mean I rate him. I understand why he was brought in. I understand that off the ball, what he offers in terms of his spatial awareness, his work rate off the ball, all are necessary components to what Ten Hag wants. Whether I rate that or not is different, but I understand why. However, on the ball, he's shocking. He's a 4 out of 10 at best, 6 out of 10 on his best day. So we need better there, and that's fine, no problem. But in isolation to all of the signings that he's made, that he wanted, barring the loan signings of Weghorst, because we all know why we got Weghorst, because we didn't use the money to replace Ronaldo. That's not on the manager, in my opinion. But all genuine signings like Casemiro, Martinez, Anthony, I'm sure there was a couple more, that Eriksen, etc. For the first season, they were all great. Majority of those key players who we don't have replacements for with the same attribute, style and type has massively hindered how we actually play our game. So having 2 or 3 players out, yes, he brought 6-7 players in that he wanted, but having 2 or 3 players out where you don't have depth for, and then you're using old players that you've already, again, looked to get rid of, but you're having to keep, automatically shows that you cannot even expect to have consistency in the way you play the game. Therefore, the shape, the style is always going to be different. Therefore, you're always having to change your plan, be flexible. Now, he's playing with this 1 lone 6, right? Kobe Mino is showing why he wanted Frankie de Jong, in my opinion, because of the attributes he brings, but it's a very difficult position to get. It's no joke why he went for Frankie de Jong so hard for his first signing. He had a vision of what he wanted to do. When he brings Casemiro in, we play with 2 holding 6s. And again, that's where the foundation should have built off that and gone, okay, like you said, he hasn't got credit in the bank, Mo. You said he ain't got credit in the bank. So what do? Build on what you do the first season. Go and get your clinical finishers and your creatives in the front 3. Add goals to what you built defensively. And then you've had 2 seasons then to go, okay, well, I've beat the 2-season threshold because most managers on average get sacked at United every 2 seasons. So then your 3rd season, you go, okay, now I want to try and play ball. Now I'm going to buy Onana. Now I'm going to do these things. And if we do have these couple of steps backwards, at least the fan base can go, well, he's had 2 seasons. We've got to give him more time. But he's been naive for me in the transfer market. Massive this season. And yes, you can't account for the injuries that no doubt would have helped us today. If you're looking at Scott McTominay coming off the bench, I much prefer to see a Casemiro come off the bench today. But we ain't seeing that.
You know what the
These small intricacies that we're struggling with is showing how desperate we are as a team because we don't have the depth. If we don't have the depth, I don't expect us to be consistent until we get a full squad of players back. And I know United fans hate this idea when he's talking about we need our full strength squad back to see a style of play. That is a sad and harsh reality you're going to have to accept, because that is a fact. Unless you're expecting inconsistencies like I did, don't expect consistent football when most of your top players that allowed you to play ball last season have been out. And then players you've bought like Mason Mount, again, either are shit or don't get enough game time because they're injured. Again, there's so many factors you bring to a table that showcase why you shouldn't be expecting consistent football. That's just me.
Sorry,
Andrew would hate this, man. If I was saying the same about Chelsea, Andrew would
hang
hate
on,
it.
no. To answer your question, Mo, the threshold won't be decided by him. It'll be decided by Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his crew. That's the threshold. So what do? Do they say, let's try and fix this situation in this second half of the season? Or do they say, there's so much to sort out, let's ride it out and start afresh in the summer, whether that's with a new manager or with Ten Hag himself? That's the threshold. It's not even down to Ten Hag, and unless he loses like 5 in a row, you know what I mean? Which could happen, but he's not doing that at this moment. So it depends what they think and what they think needs more surgery first, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch first that needs to be done. And that's what I think his threshold is. It's not up to him.
I just think that I don't know. I've been saying I think he's lost the dressing room. I think too many fights with players. I think.
But then look at the second half reaction to the Villa game.
I just think that
it's like
he doesn't seem to be a manager that has got players behind him. Like, I don't know. There's something about, even when you stand at the touchline, you just don't see the aura of a coach who's communicating with his players. There's good relationship there. You see a guy who's has normal, like he just has just a blunt affect like that. And he just,
I don't know, but to be honest with you, can I double down on this? I actually agree. I thought about this today watching the game because I was so non Espirito Santo, and I don't know why. It's just a feeling. It's a stupid, idiotic feeling. But I would really thought about it today. I thought Ten Hag is begging players to do stuff, while Nuno Espirito Santo, even when it was 0-0, he was calm, telling players where to go. And I don't know. I don't know. This feeling.
I think you have to understand, I think you're bang on to make certain observations. And I think if you look a little bit deeper into the situation, again, agree with me or not, I'm not here to be agreed with or disagreed with. I'm just making my statements fairly and honestly, right? We have a culture.
Challenge them or no? Are we allowed to challenge
to Hamza. No, I'm not. I'm just giving context to why I believe he's got to that conclusion, because I agree with you, but I don't believe it's based on the manager per se, as in him losing the room. I think this was always going to happen no matter what. And the reason I say that is because, again, we've got the facts and evidence there to show that every 2 seasons, the second season, the moment we struggle or whatever, players have now adapted a culture where they know they're going to outlast the manager for whatever reason. Man United fans have been player FC for the longest. Rate a manager or not, no player should be lasting or having 2 or 3 managers at a club like Manchester United. No player. 0 players. And there's a culture at Manchester United that tells them.
I'm sorry. Can you explain why you're saying that?
We get that in Chelsea, man. So
say again, sorry.
Why you're saying that? What's your reasoning of saying this?
The reason, okay, my whole point is this. My whole point is this.
Manager for Man United, but
my whole point is this: when you don't have certain standards at a club, right? Fergie always said, "No player is no bigger than Manchester United. No player ever will." I've seen better players get shipped off. Better players. I've seen Beckham. I've seen Ronaldo bounce. I heard everyone talking about when Ronaldo first left us after 08, right? You never win the league again. You went and dominated again, no problem, even with worse players. No players bigger than United. At United, we have a culture of you are an asset at Manchester United based on the wages we pay you and how much we've paid for you. We can no longer sell you in the next 4 or 5 years because you bring in so much money commercially. You're there to sell shirts. Those are high-profile players. So therefore, they know that whether they perform bad or not, whether they're doing the manager's tactics or not, they've got their job safe. That mentality is bred through so many of our players. Hence why many can down tool. It's okay for them to down tool because they're in an environment that suggests it's okay to. And no matter what manager comes in, the moment a manager puts his foot down, you are going to get this break in a team. You're going to get the unprofessionals and you're going to get the professionals. And we've got more unprofessionals, respectfully, than we have professionals that go, okay, let's sort this out. Why? Because accountability can be hidden behind a manager more often than not. Now, don't get me wrong. Manager can have his criticisms. I will do the same. There are receipts of me doing that heavily as well. But we cannot sit here and deny the simple fact that our culture is no longer what it used to be. It is play FC first because they are assets before they are players. And they don't have to be accountable. They know they can down tools, get a manager sacked. Oh, we'll get a new manager and everyone starts playing very well. How many times have we seen players sign for a manager, struggle, then they get a new manager that season, they're amazing, the next season they're shit. And then they wonder why there's inconsistencies. No, this dilemma where a manager and players aren't getting on had to have happened. I expected this. Because there's going to come a time when that gets challenged.
Yeah.
And it's no different than if there's no boundaries in set and there's nothing, and you're trying to change the culture, then of course.
I think
let me read this. Let me read this because also Staffy is about to join us. Sonny here is actually agreeing. United downfall was when they got Pogba for commercial presence and continued to build on it for social media hype rather than footballing reasons. I think he agrees with what Naji is saying. They buy likes, not footballers. Hamza, you are a fraud. Thank you so much, Sonny, for the super chat. I don't know why you added Hamza as a fraud at the end, but yeah, it is what it is. And then Shintila is saying Ten Hag got outclassed by Nuno. He is finished. Let me just add, Staffy. Go ahead, Hamza. Go ahead.
I think the era of where you're supposed to be disciplining players like in the past, I think that era is done unless you've already have the respect from players because of your achievement. Like Pep Guardiola, like he can do that because he knows how to do it, and he's a very smart man. And Pep Guardiola is clever when he makes a decision about a player like Cancelo issue. He got rid of him quickly. Quickly, he knows the solution. He's a troublemaker. Get rid of him. But you don't have too many issues with players. And I think what's caught out Ten Hag initially, he came with a presence of, okay, I'm the Ajax manager. Look what I did at Ajax. Look what I've done. And he came there. And I think the biggest downfall first he started is talking big. He talked big. So and United fans fell on that, and rivals took upon that as something will happen. So he's coming this last season, didn't have a style of play, had an issue with Ronaldo, got rid of Ronaldo, had an issue this season already. There's a Rashford issue, Sancho issue. We're hearing dressing room issues. So then you have to decide, okay, there's multiple players. Do you now back this guy? Or do you not get rid of the players, which is an asset to your football club? Because these guys, you need them. Because whether you like it or not, if you take a loss, that'll be a major loss. It takes years to rebuild. Years. And you have to
Hamza, just quickly, bro.
It's great risk.
Just quickly, because I've got to go, right? Just two things quickly. At Ajax, do you know how many players he fell out with and the board actually backed him to get rid of him? And there's actually video evidence of, again, I think it's even errors where he was cussing a player on the pitch saying it's about the team, not you, and bounced. You have to have a board that back your vision. That's the most important. But what happens is, and again, just like Maguire, not saying there was issues, just like Maguire, okay, I want to get rid of Maguire, but then the board is saying, well, I ain't looking to pay him out 12 or 30 million of what he owes, so I ain't getting rid of him. That's not backing the manager, in my opinion. So, again, it leads to further issues. The last thing I will point out, though, and shout out to Staffy as well, because I do have to shoot. Last thing I'll point out, you said it takes years to take a loss when you look at your assets. I use Arsenal as the most perfect example. As soon as Edu came in, they took a loss on Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe. Big money signings, big statements, big egos. Got rid of them. Reinvested in their vision to what Arteta needed and wanted. Now all of a sudden no one's remembering Arteta finishing eighth or whatever it was, having one FA Cup here and here. Arsenal fans are actually going, wow, he's actually turned it around. Because again, like it or not, having a structure that is supportive of where you go is most important. And like I said, whether Ten Hag's the right man or not, I want a structure for any manager. And until that structure comes in, whether it's consistency and everyone's pulling in the right direction, I will back any manager for 4 seasons minimum at Manchester United until I can trust that there is a structure in place with an identity of where they need to go. Because without that, we ain't going to dominate, we ain't going to challenge, we're going to keep being a banter club, and it's going to be manager after manager because we've seen previous managers better than Ten Hag go for the same thing. If that's not a wake-up call for anyone to say that you need to get off the hamster wheel, I don't know what is. I'm stepping off the hamster wheel and going, okay, keep falling, keep getting back up until we get structure. But that's me, boys, man. That's me. I'm going to have to shoot.
Thank you, Naji. Appreciate you, Naji.
Love, man. In a bit, people.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Big up, Naji.
Big up.
But I just think the issue is the manager. I think it's going to be he's lost like a lot of fan base, and he's lost. And once you lose the fan base, it's difficult to back the guy. And I think now the owners are seeing he's lost a little bit of the dressing room. They have to make a decision. He's lost some of the fan base. The more losses he takes, then it's difficult to back him. You have to start scratch. It's better you start scratch and you start from beginning, because I think this guy, the biggest issue is his signings more. Is a signing?
No,
If
I
you
think
look
no. I actually now I believe Hamza there's way bigger issue. The guy doesn't know how to manage football game. Like I'm sorry.
I'm
Manage
waiting.
Like, I'm sorry. Hamza. I promise you, I thought that right last season and with the Sancho situation, until some games this season, I saw the way he moved players to a threshold to a forward that he doesn't perform any game. I saw him today taking Meno off. I saw him something that worked one game and then the next game completely changed it. So he lost the game. And I'm like, you really, I think he's uneducated coach. He doesn't know how to like. I thought he's a good coach last season. And Mulv said that when he has a very good vision at home, he actually got them defending very well, playing on the counter. And I saw, and at home they were imposing their will. But this season, I'm very sorry, he's winging it. And I'm sorry, he's speaking out of his ass. He's winging it in games. I think the people around him are actually just saying to him, yes. And someone needs to step up at this club and tell the guy, bro, you don't know football. You don't know how to manage games. Stop it, right? Stop what you're doing. Stop this McTominay at 10 and then you play him as a 6 after 2 games because you wanted to take Meno out. Stop this Varane. I can't play Varane on the right. Bro, the guy doesn't know how to manage football games. When the way he said tactics, that Varane can play on the left, and then the next game he played him on the left when he needed him. He's an ass. He's an ass. He doesn't know what to do. He's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry. Today, the substitution he made, I swear to God, I was coaching in a club here. The under 10 wouldn't do that substitution. Nobody would ever. 0-0 away from home. You will never do that substitution. Never. It doesn't happen in football.
Man,
No,
have you seen it? Have you seen
nobody.
it?
No one would ever do that substitution.
Let me speak on that.
That's the stuff you do in the last 10 minutes when you're
Yes, unless you're losing 2-0
Not even.
and you're chasing the game. Unless you're losing 2-0 and you're chasing the game and you're throwing the kitchen sink, you don't do that stuff.
Have you seen the stats? Have you seen their stats for their attacking? No goals, no XG performance. All that is like basically the worst in the league. That has to come down to the manager.
Yes. Now let me speak on that, because I joined and there was too much talk about everything but what's going on the pitch. Structure talk is all nice and neat when we're talking about winning leagues. But who said we're even talking about that? Why are we even talking about being on the level with Liverpool and City and them right now? No one is talking about that. I'm not even trying to skip steps to go there. That's where we should be, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the basics. If this is a bar, pretend this is a bar, okay? It's on the floor right now. We're currently on the floor. I'm talking about just getting to the first step. The first step is managing games. Mo probably said the only thing that's relevant to today right now when he spoke about today's decisions. And it's not the first time this has happened. This manager, and I've said this before, has not earned the right to get a clean slate under Ineos. Why? Because he doesn't do the basics right. What is the basics to get a team functioning well enough to play good football / win football games? The manager is not doing that. He's contradicting himself, and Mo said it, he said the perfect word. He is winging it. We have 10 wins and 9 losses. There's a reason why we have only 1 draw. Games are usually not that close. We either win or we lose. Most of our wins, I'm going to be very honest with you, how many times did we sit in the beginning of the season and we're like, that's a questionable 3 points there. Did they deserve that? We said that on the Wolves game. We said that on the Brentford game when McTominay scored 2 goals in the last minute. We said that against Sheffield when Dalot scored that last-minute screamer. We said that last game when we had that comeback in the second half. Realistically, the table has covered for us, and the table usually doesn't lie. But the table right now is lying because we are not the 7th best team in the league. Tomorrow, we potentially could be the 9th best team in the league.
What?
And that's more of the truth. Well, we're only 2 points ahead of Newcastle and Brighton. I'm not saying Newcastle is going to beat Brighton, but if they would to be Liverpool, sorry.
But it can happen, yes. I get
That's what I'm saying. It's realistic. It most likely won't.
-5 points actually put you as 11th in the league, actually.
The table is actually starting to show the truth a little bit more. This manager has proved to me that he is clueless on the pitch. And you mentioned very good points, Mo. I wanted to mention them, but you already went ahead of me and you did that. Starting with the Varane thing. Varane cannot play because of tactical reasons. He said that against City. But then he brought him back versus Bayern a month later. I said I need experience. Did we not need experience against City? Is our City a mug or a mug team or something? Because I could swear that they're the treble winners. So if anything, if I need experience, I need experience in this game. He can't play him there because he can't play in left center back when he plays next to Evans. But there we are, 3 games in a row. We got the partnership of Varane and Evans. So lie number 1. Lie number 2. Today, what he did was criminal. Once again, the midfield. I say this. I've been saying this for 5 months. If people haven't heard it by now, I don't know where the hell they've been. He gets the midfield wrong every game. Once again, he's done it again. He played McTominay in the second half as the 6. McTominay has been forced on us all season in the 10. Against City, he changed him at halftime when he took out Amrabat and played McTominay in the 6, and that's when we got dominated in the second half. Because that first half against City wasn't that bad as the second half. So he played him from 10 to 6. Today, he brought him on the 6 again. There's this weird obsession that McTominay can play any position on the pitch is very weird for me. He took him on. He played him. He brought him on and took out his only 6 today in Mainu. This guy's a controller, the DM. You took him out and you put a goal-scoring DM, or a midfielder, sorry, I should say, a goal-scoring midfielder. That just shows me that you have no clue what you're doing because you threw away the control for goals. But then you lost the control. You conceded off a cutback twice, the same goal, because your 6 was out of position. And then you go after the game saying, I am praying for this guy's sanity to say that it was an injury that forced him to do that change. Samuel Luckhurst came out and said he confirmed that it was a tactical change and he does not regret it. How do you have the audacity to sit there? This is when Hamza's right. He says he talks too much. Just shut up, bro. Just shut up. The audacity to say that you don't regret it. You lost the football game. You didn't play good football after the change, and you're saying you don't regret it. And I have to sit here and listen to fans still say, I don't want to get rid of him until we change the structure. Hello? Good morning. Ineos is here. The structure that you've been using as an excuse is here. I said this earlier on my show. If Ineos actually give this guy a chance when they're officially in, because they're not officially in, like once they take over the actual decisions and they have full control on sacking and hiring people, if they give him a chance under this new regime, I will actually question him right away. Because number one, I've never seen new ownership come in and keep the old manager and keep old people. Come on, even Chelsea got rid of like Peter Cech and them club legends that ran the board, and Bowley came in and brought his own people. I've seen everyone do it. So if Sir Dave Brailsford is sitting today in the stands and he's watching that football and he doesn't think, you know what, the first thing we need to do is get rid of this manager, because number one, he can't apply the tactics. I can't have a manager that can't apply tactics. That's just the basics. So if they don't make that decision, I don't know where to go from here, because this guy has earned nothing. He's earned nothing to keep him in a job. All the players, by the way, today playing, underperforming, he backed them. He signed most of them. And the ones actually that he signed, he's not playing most of them. Why is Amrabat not playing today? Why does he want to get rid of him in January? He said, I'm actually going to send him back in January. I don't want him anymore. Why is that? Why did you want to sell McTominay on the deadline day, but today you're playing him over your own signings? And we can sit here and talk about injuries all we want. We have seen all these players play at least for glimpses of this season, and not one of us were convinced. If I tell you guys right now, name me player of the year for United, you're all going to scratch your head. No one has a definite answer. You're going to think
Onana.
Bro, Onana, who's actually been horrible so far.
I'm joking, of course.
No, but that's what I'm saying. We're all going to have weird answers. No one has a definite answer. You know why? Because it's shit. But I have to sit here and listen to this tapped fan base criticize me for not celebrating a 3-2 versus other. Mo, what did I say after the Villa game? I said it on the Lahwa. You remember why I said I won't celebrate?
Because we'll lose the next game.
And what happened today? How can I see that we're going to lose to Forest, but these dweebs, these Ten Hag simps still can't see it? How can you see the performance today on the pitch against Forest and against West Ham and say, I'm still going to back this manager? Mo, we have 5 losses in December. I grew up in an era where we used to lose 5 games a season. 5 games this season, I'll be like, oh, Fergie did bad this season. He lost 5 full games. And we're sitting here in December with 5 losses and people are still making excuses. How are you making excuses when all the players on the pitch look bad? When you're trying to wing it, you're trying to cheat the system again. He said yesterday, I think in his press, that he's trying to develop a system where he builds from the back. You take out your 6, the only control that you have, to put on a goal-scoring midfielder. And you're trying to convince me that you're not cheating. He's cheating, Mo. He's cheating. He's just trying to cheat the system. He found this way that it worked a couple of times, and he repeated it so many times, but it worked once or twice, and it didn't work about 10, 15 times. But people are still oblivious to that. People are walking like this, their hands on their eyes, and they're like, I back the manager. But what are you backing? I got to give him 4 years. But why is there a weird obsession with timelines? A time doesn't do something. Let me show you something. This is the calendar. See how it's empty? I can put whatever I want on it. I make up my own time. The time doesn't control me. I control the time. So if there's no program here, can you tell what I'm about to do this month? You can't tell. You know why? Because it's empty. It doesn't say anything. If the manager's not showing you anything on the pitch,
here's the thing, Staffy.
If the manager's not showing you anything on the pitch, sorry, sir. If the manager's not showing anything on the pitch, what are we supporting? I need to see something to back. If I see a process of something, if I'm seeing progression, I have to back it. When I consistently see regression in performances between all the players, including the ones that he signed, not a single person is performing well. Bruno went from the highest creator last season in the league to being one of the worst this season. I don't even know his stats, but he's not creating enough. Rashford went from a 30-goal season to what, 3 goals, 4 goals now? He got a goal today. Onana conceded 45 goals. I don't think we even had 45 goals conceded last season. So we conceded 45 goals this season. He's conceded 45. At this point last season, we didn't concede 45 goals. And we had someone worse who we wanted out, De Gea.
Bro,
so the defense,
out of the Champions League. That's disgraceful, bro.
Well, exactly, but that's what I'm saying. When people want me to celebrate, what am I meant to celebrate? What was going to change after the Villa? Hamza, because you love to talk about heritage. I seen people compare this win to when Makeda scored that last-minute winner against Villa.
Yeah,
that last-minute winner against Villa. I remember that. I think I was 12 or 13. I celebrated that goal like crazy because I knew we were about to win the league because of that goal. I have seen this tapped fan base make a comparison and they put the goals together.
It's a joke.
Do you understand how embarrassed I am of this fan base? These guys have no shame. These guys absolutely are shameless. What are we celebrating with a comeback, a title, a top 6 race? We're not even good to finish top 6.
You said something interesting. It's only this country that's obsessed with managers having 3 or 4 years. If we were Italy,
I can't say that because my mom and dad gave birth to me in a different continent. I'm going to talk to my mom and dad right now. I'll be like, why didn't you guys give birth to me in England? Why did you guys not give birth to me in Manchester? Because maybe if I inherited this club, like these guys are sitting there that inherited their clubs from their grandpas and their uncles and their stepfathers, my opinion would have been accepted. Because apparently I'm thriving on the team doing bad. That's the abuse I got for not supporting for not celebrating the game against Villa. But I'm the one who's always showing face here, pissed because we're not winning. Clearly, if I celebrate my club's misery so I can get clicks off them, I wouldn't be this angry every week. Bro, I'm drinking water because I feel like I'm losing blood at this point. I need some oxygen so I can
That's
breathe.
what I'm saying. That would he have lasted at Madrid? Would he have lasted at Barcelona? Would he have lasted at Bayern Munich? Would he have lasted?
No, he wouldn't.
No
one would.
There you are. There you are.
saying.
And that tells you already about no one trusts this guy.
Just to let you guys know that Xavi is under pressure to get sacked at Barcelona.
And he won the league. Mo, he won the league last season and they don't think it's good enough.
I'm being serious.
But I have people saying we overachieved by winning the League Cup. I used to not watch the League Cup games when I grew up. I was like, bro, I don't care. I watch on the weekend when we win the league. The league is more important for me. Now that's an overachievement.
That's what I'm saying. It's only this country that's obsessed with going, we must give a manager 3 or 4 years. In any other country, he'd be gone by now. He would be gone by now. You would have a new manager and you'd have a new whatever and you see what you were going to do. He would be gone. He might have even been gone at the end of last season, even on your League Cup, because he didn't really play that well. But he would have been gone. We
sacked fucking Louis van Gaal right after he won the FA Cup final.
After they won the Cup final. After they won the Cup.
Ancelotti got sacked in the tunnel after winning the league with Chelsea.
Real Madrid fired Del Bosque after they won the league. They won the league.
Well,
They fired Del
well,
Bosque.
I actually, but that's what it is, and I wanted to ask Malv a question, because we have to move on to Chelsea and Man City if we are ever going to move on. When should Man United fans accept that this is just a banter era? And
Oh, you're setting me up, mate.
no, I'm being serious. The reason why I'm asking, I can answer this question because I'm an Inter fan and we won a treble, and then we went to 9 years after this, 7 of them without Champions League. So I went through this as an Inter fan. When should Man United fans accept that? Well, this is just a banter era and we have to accept it as it is. We are a big club in spending, in fan base, in the media, blah, blah, blah. But Inter were a big club. We were making the news. But at some point, we just have to accept that it's not happening to you, that the tides have shifted. Manchester City now are dominant. Liverpool are better run than you. Arsenal are better run than you. And you just have to accept it. Is that something that you can ever think about?
It's tough for him, I would imagine. I mean, Staffy seems quite a reasonable guy, having listened to him for 10 minutes or so. I'm
usually calmer than this.
Well, I don't know what his response would be to this, but as City fans, we often look at, the stuff we see online, and occasionally with the Reds that we know, and our opinion of them and their approach to things has always been that it's a bit arrogant, yeah, and that there's an entitlement there, and I feel like until they get that out of their heads, even within the club, really, because I feel it's in the club as well. Until they realize they're just another football club, that I don't think that they'll be able to revolutionize the club, because it really needs a massive gutting, I think, and I think it all starts with their mentality. But I don't know what Staffy, what's your reaction to that, mate? And that's just I think I'm speaking for most City fans here when I say that. That's the impression we have of you. That's the impression that we think is pervasive at the club. And until they rid themselves of that and build up again, I can just see them just spinning their wheels for years.
Listen, there's a difference between accepting and understanding where you are. If you're asking United fans to understand where they are, 100% I get that. I understand where we are as a club right now, and I understand that we're miles behind certain clubs right now. The name by its own, I said this earlier on my watch on, the name on its own doesn't do anything. The big name, Manchester United is always going to be a big name, but it's not enough to guarantee success, okay? But to accept it is where I differ. I will never accept that. I will never accept that my standards for this club to be lowered. When they come out and say we thrive to be the best in England and in Europe, we thrive to win leagues and win Champions Leagues and to excel in every aspect of the sport, blah blah blah. That's what Sir Jim said when he first took over when he got the 25%. If I go back and read, he was basically saying all that stuff. I hear that. Now show it. That's what I want. And I tell all the United fans, the reason I do what I do is because I don't want anyone to lower their standards. We're not a small club, okay? We're not a small team. We went from being the best team in England to this. There's a reason why we regressed. And there's a reason why others around us have progressed. If City can progress, if City and Liverpool can progress, and all these teams around us can progress, so can you. Lowering the standards is what I have an issue with. Being attached to paid employees is what I have an issue with. When I talk about the manager, by the way, that's not me dismissing the players. But realistically, managers are held more accountable than about 20-something players, because you can't replace 20-something players in the season, but you can replace a manager in the season. When some of these players are not playing good enough, most of them are not playing good enough, you got to call out the manager. When people say Ten Hag is doing his best, like this last comment, if this is his best, then that's the main reason I want him gone, because he's not getting the best out of the players and he's not applying the best tactics. When I see a manager who is clueless, who's making wrong decisions, where people listen, when me and Mo sit here and speak about the tactics, me and Mo are not the most analytical people in the football world.
I am.
I knew he was going to say that. we rate our opinions. We take pride in our opinions. We actually do enough research to understand what we're talking about. But if a simple guy like me, a simple guy like Mo can sit there and be like, you know what, this decision is going to be bad because now you're going to leave your midfield exposed and you're mostly going to lose the game, and you lose the game, why is no one around you telling you, no, yo, this is the wrong decision?
No,
What is the coaching staff doing?
There has to be a sane person around.
Someone has to tell you, no, wait, what you're doing here is wrong. Why? Because if you do that, it's going to lead to XYZ. But no one is doing that.
I don't know.
And that's where I have the issue with. I keep saying this, and back to the point because I don't want to deviate again. I will never accept mediocrity. I will never. The day I do, wallahi, I'll retire football. You're going to go to my channel one day, it's going to be something else. I'm going to be promoting something else. I won't be talking about.
I'm not asking you to accept mediocrity. I've just been there, Staffy. I've been there.
That's what I'm saying. You were aware of it, Mo.
Yeah,
I've
seen this movie, bro, at Inter. I've seen this movie.
You was pissed when Unana left and you guys signed the other goalkeeper, remember? And you were like, why are we doing that?
That's way before that, bro.
No, but that's the point that I'm trying to make.
We used to go sign players from Porto. Freddy Guarin was like, oh my God, this Colombian guy. And he would come to Inter, he'd be mediocre. We used to do that. We used to do the same, but I don't think Man United will reach that point because of the amount of money they have. They're going to keep trying, and I think maybe the new structure will help them. But listen, we're going to move on from Man United to talk a little bit about Manchester City and Phil Foden today.
Listen, I got to go. I got to go rest a little bit for my next show. But listen, big up to everyone. Big up, sir, for Ziad, Hamza, and I'm sorry, the same gentleman.
Mauve.
What is your name?
Nice one. Mauve.
Mauve? Nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Listen, big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you guys are smashing the likes, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to everyone's channels, and big up for having me, Mo.
Yeah, thank you so much, Staffy. Talking about Manchester City today, and Phil Foden playing in the 10. Looked good, looked absolutely great. We'll move to Chelsea in a bit because a lot of people want to hear about Chelsea and Cole Palmer Ballon d'Or winner and all the stuff. But Manchester City, I wanted to talk a little bit about Foden. I wanted to talk a little bit about Kevin De Bruyne back. What does it mean? What does it mean for Phil Foden, especially in that place? Does that mean he's going to hold bench, or does that mean he's going to hold bench then?
No, I think the thing is, you guys are expecting that as soon as KDB comes back. People don't realize that he had major surgery. He's missed a lot of games. It would take him time for him to be back to the KDB he is. I think, let's say, probably 4 weeks or 5. February, March there, roughly. And that's when we need him most. I think it's not wrong to rotate players because Phil Foden needs a rest as well. For KDB has played with Phil Foden in the past. They can rotate. Players can start this side and interchange quickly. And it causes more damage because players will be confused where to mark. KDB is dangerous on the wing. He's dangerous in the middle. KDB can play with Haaland up front. And I think KDB is a versatile player. I think having KDB back, I think today you saw, as soon as he came back, you saw the role, and even the commentator said, oh, I thought he scored a goal. Remember? The commentator said,
you guys know that I have KDB on the thumbnail. Anybody notice that?
Yeah.
Did anybody know? I had actually KDB in the warm-up on the thumbnail. I thought this is the biggest news of the City win today.
Yeah, I think it's today to have him there, just his presence, and to get him to warm up was, you could see the stadium lit up with happiness, the relief that, oh, at last, our main guy, it's like Messi of Barcelona, CR7 or thing. Our KDB is the guy. Like, we have that. That's the image of we've got. He's the guy that provides more assists than anyone else in the Premier League.
So what about Foden?
He can play with Foden. They play together. They have played together very well. I'm just saying that we have to take it easy on KDB in terms of bringing him slowly. I think the Huddersfield game is the next game. He might not play, but then the Newcastle game, he might come on. By February, if he starts coming on, we need to rest Foden. But they can't play together more. There's no doubt about it. KDB has played with Foden both. And when they've played both, they're very dangerous together. So it doesn't mean it's the end of Foden, or does it mean that it's the end of KDB? No chance. No chance. And you need a bigger squad anyway to rotate. When we are a team that we're probably going to be progressing to quarterfinal if we do beat Copenhagen, it means that we'll play more games.
Yeah. There is no if. Let me do this couple of super chats. Hamza's 3 saying great analysis. More big up, Hamza. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Siniak is saying, I swear if you slap a blue jersey on Staffy, I would Twitter he's talking about Chelsea and Pochettino, I feel like I need Bruce Willis from Die Hard for these bastards. Are you serious? Chelsea played well today, but we'll come to Chelsea. But I'm gonna keep the super chat. Marv, talk to me about Jack Grealish today. Why was he subbed out?
Yeah, he was rubbish.
I don't know.
You waited for me to ask about Foden, but no, I'm not giving you that. I am not giving you this.
No, Grealish struggled today, mate. It happens. It happens. Yeah, I mean, Oscar Bob came in and immediately was doing the things, the little bit of magical things that Grealish just didn't have today. So yeah, no big deal. He had his house robbed. I don't. You probably saw that. So probably maybe his head wasn't properly in it today. But Oscar Bob, I'd rather talk about Oscar Bob, to be fair, because
that pass was magic.
yeah, he's
he had an angle, and I was like, oh my god,
Yeah, he was very good.
angle.
yeah.
He was very direct. He was absolutely great. He was very, very good. And for me, I was like amazed how a young player like this can come in and be that good, to be honest. Like I actually was impressed, to be honest. Zynical here saying Pep said he wants Foden to play alongside Rodri. What?
Wow.
Pep says a lot of stuff out of his ass as well, so who cares? Like a lot of stuff he says stuff about his out of that. He spoke about Nunes and he needs to improve a little bit before being embedded in the squad. And anybody thinks that you're gonna go in January and sign players?
Don't think so, mate.
I think he'll sign. I think he'll sign. I think
say no. So what do you want?
Me, I want midfielder. I feel sorry that every minute I see Rodri on the pitch, that he spends time there. I think we're risking injury. We're risking fatigue on a major player. I think it would be very naive that if we do not go to the transfer market and get someone, because you can see we were winning 2-0 more, and he didn't even bring Calvin Phillips on. Again,
Calvin Phillips is done. Calvin Phillips.
No, but
is
that's
done.
what I'm
I
saying.
don't know why we're talking about Calvin
But he
Phillips.
didn't even
Done.
show
Over.
a sign.
He brought up 19 years old Rico Lewis instead of Calvin Phillips in the midfield.
More, the fact that he doesn't bring support. Rodri has said that he's tired. I'm physically tired. He played all the Premier League games, all the Champions League games, all the FA Cup games. He played the Spain games in the World Cup. He played the UEFA Nations League, and he's come back and then he started the same day. And even he said, "I'm tired." We should have the audacity of listening to a player and sign someone to try and look after him, because otherwise he's a great risk, because he's an engine. And in a midfielder, someone like that, Man United had Roy Keane and Nicky Butt. Whenever Roy Keane was getting taken out, Nicky Butt would come in. You can't survive with one defensive midfielder. I think we need to be very, very careful, and I think we need to go to the market, because I'm so glad Rodri has not even had a little niggle.
I agree with him, but I just don't know who the name is. Like, who is that player that's going to come in and be good enough to be Rodri's backup, but sit on the bench because he's Rodri's backup?
You know, I'll say one thing. Number one, they have to put their hand up, like, and go and sign their two. At least have in the summer, there has to be a major one. Major. Forget Paquetá.
Probably will be.
We're talking about. I'm talking about someone like probably Zubimendi at Real Sociedad. That guy with Rodri, impeccable, that midfield togetherness. That is what we need. We need, and I think he wants to stay at Real Sociedad.
There's only one player in the world that can did this. There's only actually we have two players at Inter that actually play the 8, but when the 6 is not available, they play the number 6, which is and Barella sometimes. So
how much?
Which is, no, I'm not saying that, but there are a lot of players in the world that can play the 8, and when the 6 is not available, you actually drop to play the 6, which is what Gundogan was absolutely phenomenal in it, right? There are players like Kimmich can do that.
Kimmich is finished. I've seen it.
Kimmich is older a little bit, but there's a lot of players can do.
Enthusiastic.
Caicedo is one of them. I believe Caicedo is one of them. Can play an 8 and can play a 6. Well, you can give Chelsea 150 million, and
Paulinho is available.
Paulinho isn't an 8, so that's the difference. Paulinho isn't an 8. Declan Rice was one of them, can play an 8 and also can play a 6.
That would have
so
been...
there are players that you missed out on.
Yeah.
But we were going for Bellingham, it didn't work out. We went for Rice, it didn't work out.
But Bellingham isn't that guy. Like, he can play a 6. Like, Rice is a special. Like,
sorry,
Rice,
how much was Nunes?
60 or 60.
Oh, you're talking about replacing him already.
No, Daisy. No, Nunes
It's
special.
a small
He-
squad, mate.
He walk into your team.
Shut up, bro.
I swear he walked
Shut
into your
up,
team.
man. You lost your mind.
He's good,
bruv.
man.
He's not walking our team nowhere, bro.
Oh, now he's good. Now he's good, apparently.
If Cole Palmer is my youngster walked into your team and become a star boy.
I mean, Cole Palmer is doing numbers as like Foden. What are you talking about?
Oh my god. Are you joking?
What about my joking? It's facts. He's doing the same numbers as Foden.
No.
He's got
Cole
more
Palmer
goals than
was not even
Foden.
starting. He was a youngster. He's already a star boy.
Okay.
Nunes is a good player. I think he will be good next year. But you're right. We need to sign that 6 or the 8. But we have to. This. I think it will be risky with Rodri. How can Rodri play that again? It's mad. Like, I feel sorry for him, man. 90 minutes again. Like, yo, we have to give him a break. And he has a right to get a break. No midfielder gets that much pressure like Rodri. We can't overuse him. And we need him in the most important game. March, April is key.
Poor Nigel in the chat is clinging on to Douglas Luiz like his life depended on it.
Well, I don't think Kimmich is finished. I just don't think he likes Tuchel. That's the difference. He doesn't like. There seems to be a falling out of Tuchel. I think Kimmich can still do it. 28 going into 29. I think he would ball under Pep right now. I think he would. I think he just doesn't like Tuchel. That's all it is. You can tell a lot of the players don't really like Tuchel there. But you know,
and his wages, he takes 330,000 a week. Do you think City are gonna pay that? That's why I don't think he's in that name.
No, why don't you
another youngster is going to the South American market. Andre is one. Young Redondo is another one. So there's youngsters.
Why don't you structure it like payments, like you do to Haaland? Why don't you structure it like that? So the incentives are there. So it's a incentivized contract. So it's a base salary and then incentivized on it. That's what you do with Haaland, don't you? You've got Haaland's base salary and then his wins and goals on the incentives. So you get paid more.
For Kimmich. I don't think so.
No, I'm just saying you could do it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But to say he's like finished.
When I'm hearing Arsenal who have spent 700 million want to go, because they've been going to the market every January and summer, like literally every January. They're in the market January, summer. This is again a January. They go, hey, if they're going to the market in January, I know City don't, but we have to forget that. I think this is the time.
Hold on, Malv just said he doesn't think that you need players, so I'm not getting. No, who's right?
I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't say.
You asked me if I think they will, and I don't think they will.
But you want signing.
Yeah, I just don't know who the guy is because I agree with the position that we need with Hamza, but I don't know who the player is.
It's a squad player. It's not a starting player. It's a squad player, isn't it? That's what it is. So they become more difficult.
If we take a time machine to 2 years ago, I'd have told you it was Calvin Phillips. He would have been perfect. Right. But he didn't. He hasn't worked out.
Yeah, based on his career at Leeds, based on the coach he coached,
I thought he was going to be
brilliant, in England. He actually played next to Declan Rice, and he used to drop at the 6 when Declan Rice used to get subbed out in the national team. So yeah, it was Calvin Phillips.
That's the profile we need. It's just
not the player.
The funny thing is, a year ago, we had a buyback clause on Douglas Luiz anyway for 30 million.
Right.
We passed it. We sold Lavia.
I think Kamara is the guy. Not Douglas Luiz. Kamara is the guy. Kamara from Aston Villa.
Kamara's the guy. Yeah,
Kamara's the guy. Kamara's the guy.
Bruno Guimaraes is 100 million. You can't. No.
Kamara. I actually don't like Bruno Guimaraes. That's just my.
He's a very dirty player.
I think he's an overrated player. Like.
He's dirty now.
I don't think he's quick enough. I don't think he's technical enough. That's just my personal opinion, to be honest. But listen, I don't want to keep the guys for long. Chelsea. Winning 2 games back to back. How are you guys feeling after the game? Pochettino. I felt a lot. I saw a lot of people that actually saying that Pochettino didn't manage the game well. Is that true though?
But I have to look at it again because from the 78th minute on, like you said, the game flipped. Like it went total 180. Like,
switch, rather than...
Yeah, I don't know what happened because he made similar changes. I think he moved Gusto to left again, stuff like that. But they wouldn't cause us any harm. But
why? Why is that? Why is that moving Gusto to the left side? What is the obsession?
He would rather put Gusto left back instead of bring on Ian Maatsen to help.
What about was Chilwell on the bench today?
No, he's injured.
No, but he brought Gilchrist on
I thought he played the cup game.
No, he's not played. He's only just got.
played.
He's only back in training. He's not had any games whatsoever.
Mm.
But I don't even know why he needs to even bring Colwell off. I don't think Colwell was having a bad game or anything
Bro,
like that.
look, Levi Colwell, and I'm sorry, based on what I'm seeing now as a football player, is overrated. Like, he needs development. The guy needs to learn a little bit to calm down.
Yes,
This is what we keep saying. Like,
yeah,
I think he's rash in tackles. I think he anticipates more than what he can do personally. He thinks highly of himself because he played for the Derby, right? Like, he goes into tackles, misses the tackles sometimes. And I'm like, calm down, bro. You have the ability to play football.
Yeah.
Just calm down.
yeah.
And maybe
Very rash.
Pochettino needs to play him into the center back. Like,
You're speaking up. We've been saying that all season.
like maybe that's because he's playing left back. That's
what I'm saying. He's got. It's not like a Vardio. It's not even like a Dan Burns situation because Dan Burns played left back for a big chunk of his career. It's not even like Ben White now, who's a right back. Ben White is a right back now, right? He's been playing there for 2.5 years. Colwell has not got the attributes. He hasn't taken on the information if he has been given and how to position himself as a left back. The goal against Crystal Palace, the one we conceded, he comes too far in, leaves Elise alone. He shouldn't need to do that. He should be marking Elise, and we don't concede. That's the whole point. He's not being he's either not being taught properly or he's just not taking on the information correctly, and it's not sinking in. And you're right. And if he is being taught but he's not taking it on, then that's fundamentally a him problem. And he has gone backwards. For whatever he started at, he's gone backwards.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Like some of the players just. To be honest, I actually, people just said that Caicedo was good today. I still think Caicedo is a little bit slower than how he used to play at Brighton. Slower.
He was okay. He was okay. There's nothing outstanding about
exactly.
His game.
Like I hold players to a level of how much. Like you were bought for 115. I'm expecting to see a difference maker on the page because what's the difference between you and somebody else that is worth 30? I'm not saying he was bad. I'm saying you paid that much money for someone to change the way you look in the midfield, to change the way you play football. But I'm not seeing it, which is the same for Enzo. I'm not saying Enzo is a championship player, but I'm not seeing that 110, 115, like that much, which is the same thing we were saying about Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish for his first year wasn't good, but if he was a 20 million pound player, nobody would have said, well, you know what, you're just that much.
Exactly.
That's what my point.
Yeah, and it's
you don't agree. I know that.
It's not his fault what the transfer fee is, but he's better than what he's shown. And today's game isn't one where you hang your hat on him and go, yeah, that's why we bought Caicedo. He was okay to good, less than good, something like that. It wasn't like, oh my God. Because I know Ziad would agree, we didn't have really control of that game, did we? And maybe that was part of tactics, especially in the first half, to let them have the ball. But that last 20 minutes, they ran through our midfield like they weren't there, and he was part of that.
Exactly.
Even when we were winning, I didn't think we were total in control of the game. I just thought when we had the ball, we actually done well with it. In a way, when we done, we didn't waste our chances. Only towards the end, the last 20 minutes, for some reason, we couldn't keep the ball on the floor. We couldn't control the game. Enzo coming on, I was like, okay, we're gonna control the game now. We've got the better players. We've got the, technically gifted players. They're Luton. All due respect to Luton, we should just be able to keep the ball. String 5 passes. Stress out their fans like Petrovic was doing it the whole game. I'm surprised he didn't get a yellow card. I think we should have done that towards the end when they were spamming him those crosses and putting pressure on us. I don't think we did. I think that probably comes down to the manager and a few players. But look, like I said earlier, performances is going to go up and down. I think the main thing I'm happy about is the 3 points, and certain players are slowly showing improvement. Noni Madueke, as I mentioned, coming in straight away out of no game time to he can't be dropped now in the next Premier League game. He shouldn't be dropped. Gusto consistently performing. And Colwell today better defensively as a left back. He shouldn't be playing there, but sadly, in Pochettino's eyes, we have no other choice. Gusto there or Colwell there. He doesn't see Maatsen as a left back. He didn't.
By the way, Nkuku came on today. He didn't do anything.
He should have left on at least one of Brozier or Jackson.
Malv, how are you seeing this Chelsea project? Pochettino, young, buy. How are you seeing that?
Like big picture sort of thing. Like Like when we did our season preview on our podcast, like I was giving him a big lot of leeway because it's a brand new manager with essentially a brand new team, yeah. And I wasn't expecting too much of them this season. I wasn't expecting them to continuously get better, obviously, and I definitely wasn't expecting Cole Palmer to be their best player, which is madness, actually. Now, obviously, I'm a huge fan of Cole Palmer, being a City fan. And I think I don't disagree with Pep Guardiola very often. Like, we maybe have 4 differences of opinion ever, but that's one of them. I thought he was brilliant and should have stayed, but Pep didn't rate him. So I think we got a good chunk of money for him. So we'll take that. But like my podcast partner, I was speaking to him earlier, Joey. Like, he doesn't rate Pochettino at all, and always asks what has he ever won. Like, he's won the French league once with the team that always wins the French league. Like, he doesn't see the big deal about Pochettino. But when I watch them play, I it's different than United, and I can see what Pochettino's playing style is. I couldn't tell you what United's is. But no, I would say give them time. I still think they've got a lot of financial problems. As a City fan, obviously, unfortunately, we have to pay attention to the financial side of the game quite a lot, especially when talking to opposition fans. And from what I'm hearing from some City fans who are clued in to Chelsea's financials, is that they've got to sell some players. I think that's why they're trying to ship Gallagher in this window. But that's the other reason I asked the question of our mate down here about where they expect to finish this season. Do they? Would you rather see better performances, or do you need the points? What are you going for? Like, I was thinking, like, I'd rather see better performances, meaning, you know, that they should be getting better and the points will come eventually. But I understand points are super important at the moment, and climbing up the table to help their financial position, which I think is perilous. I understand that. I understand what you're saying. So from a playing side, I would say new manager, new team, give them time. A lot of great young talent there, some of which have already shown it. Some I think will eventually. From like the financial side, I think they're in big trouble, mate. So yeah, that's my take on Chelsea at the moment.
They can take advice from Man City, I think.
Ignore the rules.
I think
they can get the same financial guys. You can get the same accountants. I think they're right.
It all works, right? But I think me and Ziad Ziad and I are pretty much in agreement. I think we were 7th. If we were sitting now here 7th or 8th with about like 7 to 9 more points, I don't think you'd hear a lot of frustration from the Chelsea fans. Little things here and there, but it's like you said, we have played. I know most of it as well. This season we have played well in some games, but since like the last international break, it's really been more downs than ups in terms of performances. Like today, for the first 75 minutes, I thought, fine, no problems. That's probably one of our better performances, even though we weren't that dominant. But that's the thing. We're seeing him make these substitutions that have a negative impact on
he's getting his inner Ten Hag in the game. You know?
Yeah, he's overthinking it.
Ten Hag in the game. He's like in the game. He's like, I gotta be like this guy, the bold guy, the good-looking bold guy with the right beard. I gotta be like this guy. You know,
he can say,
I gotta do the same stuff as him. What doesn't make sense, my son? This guy here, yes, put it there. It doesn't make sense, and we're doing it. You know, I'm making the media.
No, he's the only one. He's one of the only few coaches this season who can say he got out-coached by that bald guy as well.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's amazing, bro. Actually, you brought this to my attention. He's probably the only guy that got out-coached by Ten Hag this season.
He did. He got out-coached.
That's nuts.
Out-coached.
That's nuts, bro. But listen, Chelsea coming games before we end the show. EMC is saying Chelsea backline gonna be washed once Silva leaves.
What?
Are you serious?
Bro.
Is that a serious super chat?
We thank you for that super chat. Mo thanks you for that super chat.
No, bro. I respect you as a viewer, a super chatter always, but Thiago Silva, if that's what you're relying on, 39 years old, you're in bigger trouble.
Man, we literally have Buddy Shealy, Levi Colwell, man. It's like, what's
I actually don't think this house is that bad, actually.
He's not. He gets listen, he's not the best, but he gets over criticized.
He gets over criticized, but I don't think he's honestly, I think Chalobah could do exactly what he's doing right now. If I'm being
But we
honest.
know why Chalobah's not going to be. It's going to be sold for FFP.
That's the thing. You see Chalobah and what's his name and Gallagher. That's almost probably
Maxton,
100 million of pure profit. Like you can't blame the club. You can't, because Chalobah, like you said, you just replace him with Disasi. You're more or less getting the same amount of money, your Chalobah that you bought Disasi for. And then Gallagher, that guy is like, bro, 50 million, 45 million for someone that realistically shouldn't be starting. So it's a no-brainer for the club in terms of financial.
Yeah, to be honest, but Chalobah, you won't get 20 million for him. I'm just telling you.
What?
You won't get 20
Whatever it
million.
is, it's still going to be.
They already tried to sell him last summer. Nobody came with more than 25. You know that Inter tried to.
I promise you, we'll at least get 30. Watch.
Maybe, like, I don't know. But I'm just going through what happened last summer because you actually offered.
We sold the donkey for 17 million.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll be fine.
You offered Inter and Juventus, unless you sell him in the Premier League. Unless someone comes in the Premier League and you'll get 30 for him in the Premier League.
Right. He's right.
Anyway, listen.
Abroad, they haven't got the money abroad.
Chalobah's a good player, man.
I actually don't think he's a bad player at all.
Chalobah's a good player.
No,
I actually wanted Inter to get him on loan with an option to buy. I actually think he's a decent player. I don't think he's bad at all.
He's a good player.
Listen.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Listen, people, this has been an absolutely fantastic show. Stay on the show. It will take you to Staffy TV show, and also give subscription to all the guys in the description. Of course, Noisy Part for Malvira and his partner Joey, absolute brilliant guys. Casually FC, Staffy TV, Hamza Talks Ball. Of course, guys, this has been an absolutely brilliant show. Another super chat. If you want to send a super chat, don't send it after I end the show. If you want to send a super chat, you have to end it like in the next second. But I appreciate it. 70% of Chelsea problems go if Thiago Silva could speak English. That's a fantastic super chat. Thank you,
but
people.
He can speak French. Most of the backline speaks French. So what's the problem?
I think everyone in the backline speaks French. Everyone that started today speaks French, apart from 2 players.
Oh well,
yeah. Staffy TV. He's gonna have a recap show. It's not gonna be about Man United. I promise you. Malv, appreciate you being here. Thank you, Naji. Thank you for Naji, who's been here. Ziad, absolutely brilliant.
Thank you, bro.
Brilliant. No banter. Football talk today, Ziad. That's different than the Lahwa show.
Oh, that was an awesome show.
Andrew Surfer, thank you so much for being here. Andrew Winter Surfer, absolutely brilliant. And of course, Hamza is here. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys. Tomorrow, the notification bell. Tomorrow, I got a brilliant show for you. Canopy and Will Stewart on the same panel. On the same panel tomorrow. That would be fireworks. So turn on the notification bell. Appreciate you guys. And we're out of here, people. Unless there's another one. No.